The story begins in the aftermath of a fierce storm sinking a Universal Dynamics cargo ship, causing Rosm robots to wash ashore on an uninhabited island. Among them, Rosm Unit 7134, nicknamed Roz, is the sole survivor. When a group of otters accidentally activates her, Roz introduces herself to the bewildered wildlife, who immediately shrink in fear. Programmed to assist others, Roz starts wandering the island in search of someone in need. However, her clunky, unfamiliar presence frightens the animals, who avoid her at all costs. Determined to understand her new environment, Roz studies the animals from afar. Over time, she learns their patterns, behaviors, and even their languages. Despite her efforts to communicate, the animals still view her as a dangerous outsider, calling her a monster. Roz's attempts to help are met with hostility, and her mechanical rigidity only deepens the divide. She suffers injuries during these encounters, including a lightning strike that temporarily incapacitates her when she attempts to activate her return to factory transmitter. When she reactivates, she is met with a group of mischievous raccoons who are busily attempting to steal her robot parts, mistaking them for shiny objects to hoard. Without aggression, Roz attempts to recover her parts, including the return transmitter. She encounters a savage bear during this attempt and slips down a cliff while trying to escape. It is here Roz's mission takes an unexpected turn when she accidentally crushes a goose nest during the fall. Amid the wreckage, she finds one surviving egg. Initially unsure what to do, Roz protects the egg from a hungry fox named Fink, an act that seems both instinctive and calculated. During their hilarious fight for the egg, Fink falls onto a porcupine's back, which Roz saves him from, amidst his suspicion and resistance. When the egg hatches into a gosling, Roz is irritated by the tiny creature following her everywhere, attempting to cuddle up with her. She tries to dismiss him many times, failing with each attempt. The gosling accidentally breaks Roz's transmitter during its cuddling endeavors. She then encounters an eccentric mother opossum named Pinktail and her brood, who ease up to her after realizing she isn't dangerous. Roz tells Pinktail the gosling seems to be stalking her. Pinktail then informs Roz that the chick has imprinted on her, and so views Roz as its mother. Roz is initially hesitant as she needs to return to factory since she has no assigned tasks. Pinktail points out that caring for the gosling is her task now, which registers successfully with Roz's programming. She will need to feed him, teach him to swim and fly by fall so that he migrates before winter comes, or else he dies. Roz initially struggles with the tasks of nurturing the gosling, lacking any knowledge of what goslings eat, or how to teach him to swim or fly. This is when the sly fox, Fink, reemerges. At first, his motives are opportunistic, taking advantage of Roz's naivety to garner food and comfort for himself. However, over time, Fink half-heartedly teaches Roz how to care for the gosling, offering advice on feeding him and building a safe home, though not without several sneaky attempts to eat the gosling himself. Eventually, Fink becomes an unlikely ally, officially joining Roz and the gosling's little family. With his guidance, Roz begins to understand the behaviors and nuances of the island's various inhabitants. Together, they build a home, and Roz names the gosling Brightbill. As Brightbill matures, their bond deepens, and Roz's once cold, robotic demeanor begins to soften. However, Brightbill's presence creates tensions among the other geese. his smaller size marks him as a runt, and his inability to swim properly only adds to the ridicule. They mock him for having a robot as a mother and for adopting Roz's speech patterns and mannerisms. This relentless teasing forces Brightbill to question his identity and Roz's place in his life. When he discovers the truth about Roz's involvement in his biological family's death, he becomes angry and distances himself from Roz after questioning her. During this time, Roz encounters another damaged Rosm unit named Rummage, who she seeks advice from concerning the events she's encountered during her time in the wild. Rummage advises her to return to Universal Dynamics for repairs due to the perceived change in Roz's programming, which she observed after running a diagnostics check on Roz, essentially implying emotional attachments Roz has formed, which should not be the case for a Rosm unit. She hands Roz her own undamaged transmitter to assist her return. But Roz, now deeply tied to her island and its inhabitants, decides to stay at least till Brightbill learns to fly and safely joins the migrations. She then encourages a disheartened Brightbill to resume his flying lessons, despite the lack of progress. After several failed attempts, Brightbill laments that his unusually small wings cannot generate the necessary lift and efficiency. Roz, determined to help, introduces him to a falcon named Thunderbolt, who agrees to teach Brightbill how to master his small wings. Following the success of Thunderbolt's teachings, Longneck, a leader among the geese, observes Roz and Brightbill's unwavering dedication. Moved by their efforts, he promises to allow Brightbill to join the migration on one condition. He must demonstrate sufficient flying endurance within a week, the scheduled time for the migration. Roz once again takes on the task of preparing Brightbill with everything she can. Against all expectations, he succeeds. She brings him to the geese just in time for the migration, and, as promised by Longneck, he successfully joins them. As Brightbill takes flight with the others, Roz feels a mix of pride and heartbreak. After Brightbill joins the migration, Roz finds herself alone for the first time since the gosling hatched. She grapples with a deep sense of loneliness and questions her purpose without him. As snow begins to fall on the island, Fink, equally disheartened by the state of his scattered family, retreats into solitude. The other island inhabitants follow suit, each withdrawing to prepare for the harsh winter ahead. Roz, in her solitude, reactivates her long-range transponder, alerting Universal Dynamics to her presence on the island. Meanwhile, Brightbill's migration is fraught with danger, including an encounter at a Universal Dynamics facility where robotic enforcers attack the flock. Longneck charges Brightbill to navigate the flock to safety due to his intelligence, while he himself sacrifices his life to ensure their safety. Back on the island, Roz faces a brutal winter and is surprised to find Fink seeking refuge in their home. While catching up, she explains that she deactivated her transponder to avoid being detected, as her priority was ensuring Brightbill's safe migration. When Roz questions why Fink is out of his den in the heart of winter, he admits that the harsh conditions have made even his den unbearable. True to her programming, Roz immediately enlists a reluctant Fink to help locate the other animals and bring them to their home, where she has started a fire to keep everyone warm. She pushes her systems to the limit to ensure every animal is accounted for. Within the enclosure, tensions run high as rivals, predators, and prey all struggle to coexist, with countless fights breaking out. Using her remaining strength, Roz appeals to them, calling for a truce. She convinces all the animals to promise peaceful coexistence within the safety and warmth of the lodge. With her mission complete and her energy reserves depleted, Roz finally powers down for the winter. In the spring, Roz reawakens after powering down to conserve energy during the harsh winter. She eagerly looks for Brightbill, who has just returned with the flock. The animals celebrate Brightbill's heroic leadership in safely guiding the flock home. When Fink informs Brightbill that Roz stayed behind to ensure his safe return, Brightbill rushes to find her. Roz, however, feeling disheartened by the thought that Brightbill no longer needs her, retreats to a quiet place to lament. It is here that she encounters Universal Dynamics retrieval units, led by a robot named Vantra, who have come to capture her. Initially, Roz agrees to leave with them, believing it is the logical course of action. Fink finds Roz just in time and urgently tells her that Brightbill is searching for her. Touched by this, Roz defies the retrieval units, breaking free and reuniting with her son. Their joy is short-lived as the retrieval enforcers track them down, demanding Roz comply. A battle ensues, with the animals of the island uniting to help Roz fend off the intruders. Vantra, however, cunningly captures Roz and drags her onto their command ship. Refusing to give up, Brightbill and the animals work together to fight back. In a final act of courage, they destroy Vantra and the ship. However, the victory comes at a cost. Roz is left heavily damaged, and Vantra's ominous warning of more retrieval teams lingers over the island. Realizing her presence puts the island and its inhabitants in danger, Roz makes the heartbreaking decision to leave. She promises Brightbill and the animals that she will return someday. Roz bids farewell to her family and signals for a ship to take her away. After Roz's departure, the animals honor her memory by continuing the tradition of gathering in her enclosure during winter, keeping warm together, and sharing stories about her bravery and kindness. Brightbill, however, embarks on a journey to find Roz at the Universal Dynamics facility during their migration. When he finally sees her, he fears she may not remember him, but as soon as Roz recognizes Brightbill, she picks him up lovingly, just as she once did, and acknowledges him with warmth and affection. The story ends on a heartwarming note, celebrating their unbreakable bond and the promise of new beginnings. The end. Stay tuned for more exciting content, and don't forget to like and subscribe for your next dose of cinematic excitement.